The shadow collapsed. The step fell silent. The roar dissolved in the dust of blood. The pack fell into a void of terror. Will instinct be enough to turn pain into strength and bring the pack back? The Wild Dogs of the Blood-Stained Steppe. Rise of the Survivors. Dawn poured a thin layer of gold over the Okavango. Dew lingered on the blades of grass. The air still smelled of the damp night. The 15 spotted wild dogs moved gently, like water. In the middle, Zola, the calm leader, her ears turned to the wind. Next to her was the dominant male. Behind, a puppy followed, its eyes still round and wet. Kito, the child Zola had snatched from the honey badger's fangs during that chaotic dawn. Kito was no longer trembling and small as he had been when he was rescued. He ran close to Zola's feet, learning each pause, each angle to tilt his ear, to listen to the wind. When the pack rested, Zola fed him the softest piece of meat. The pack took turns teaching, keeping lines, keeping the wind, keeping distance. Here, life is a lesson taught by action. Kito was now older, but still kept the curious gaze of a newcomer. He always ran close to Zola's feet, his small feet occasionally stumbling into the grass, but always gently supported by his mother's feet. That morning, Kito and the other puppies practiced stalking. Kuro taught him how to lower his body, keep his breathing steady, and learn to read the wind. Zola stood nearby, observing, not intervening. Every time Kito failed, looking up with a bewildered look, Zola just glanced lightly, as if to say, "Do it again yourself." In this world, the greatest lesson comes not from words, but from the silence of the guide. Outside the cave, the other pups were growing up day by day. They played in the wet grass, jumped on each other's backs, then fell flat on their faces, sand covering their fur. but not meaningless games. Every fall, every chase, is a first lesson in how to survive. Zola occasionally observes, her eyes gentle. She knows. That is the beginning of the hunting instinct. The way each generation is kneaded into a link in the perfect machine called the pack. As the sun rises higher, the pack begins to set off. Zola signals with a small whistle to start the hunt. The cubs are left near the cave, with the younger ones guarding. The 7 adults spread out, moving silently through the grass. Kuro leads the main spear. Zola circles to the left. The other 3 cut the wind from behind. Every step is calculated. No one makes a sound. No one moves ahead. From afar, they look like shadows, flowing in the sunlight. The cubs are left near the cave. Only Kito, the oldest and most eager cub, is allowed to follow. This will be the first time he participates in a real hunt. The 7 adults spread out, moving silently through the grass. Kito was in the last position, keeping his distance, learning to observe every step, every pause. He tried to imitate his mother, lowering his body, holding his breath, his ears following the wind. But his breathing was still rapid. His steps were a bit awkward, causing the grass to stir slightly. A few wildebeest were grazing nearby. They were leisurely, their heads bowed, completely unaware of the eyes watching from afar. Zola stopped, her body low to the ground, her eyes locked on the weakest young male, a young male that had separated from the herd, its hind legs limping slightly. She let out a small hiss to signal the start of the hunt. A small bark signaled the start. They all rushed forward, the wind whistling past their ears, the grass flying into a mist. The chase continued. Zola tried to maintain the pressure, but the wind changed direction. The heat blew back. The smell of sweat and blood spread, making them easy to detect. The wildebeest, as if understanding this, suddenly changed direction and rushed straight down into the hollow where there were thick thorn bushes. Zola rushed after her but missed a beat. Another figure suddenly emerged from the tall grass, an antelope twice as big, turning back, angrily defending its kind. The sudden butt of its horns forced Kito to retreat, losing his balance. The prey had already run, its figure gradually fading into the dry grass. The hunt was over. Only the sound of panting and the smell of burnt dust remained. Kito stood looking in the direction the prey disappeared, her chest heaving with regret. Sand clung to her muzzle, her breath quick and dry. Zola approached, sniffing softly to signal a stop. The herd gathered, some lying down, tongues sticking out, panting, eyes sunken from fatigue and hunger. High above, the vultures began to circle. They recognized the scent of blood, but did not know that the hunter had missed. In the distance, the high-pitched laughter of hyenas echoed somewhere on the edge of the plain. They had sensed the pack's defeat and were waiting for a chance to scavenge for any scraps of meat. A few of the younger ones lay down to rest, their eyes slightly weary with hunger. For that brief moment, the pack lived in a rare peace, a feeling that only exists between two hunts and before danger arrives. They would wait for the next opportunity. When the prey had disappeared behind the dry grass, Zola signaled a retreat. The pack slowly retreated westward, where a patch of old acacia bush remained. Under the red sunset, the mottled figures trudged silently. Their breathing was heavy, their stomachs empty, but their formation was still intact. On the steppe, discipline is the only thing stronger than hunger. Zola stopped at a breezy knoll. The others lay scattered, some younger ones seeking shade, some licking the scratches on each other's shoulders. Kito lay close to his mother, his head resting on Zola's leg. It looked out into the distance, where the sunset was fading, its eyes still filled with regret for the missed meal. Zola bent down and licked its head. Just a short movement, but enough to say, "Tomorrow, we will start again." As the sky darkened, the flock grew quiet. The younger ones took turns on guard, standing motionless on the high mound, their ears erect, listening to each gust of wind. When the wind changed direction, they raised their heads in unison, sniffing. Every action was instinctive but perfect, like a machine powered by breathing. Night gradually fell. Above, the sky was black and covered with stars. The crickets began to chirp, mixed with the frogs from the shallow puddles in the distance. The flock curled up together. To the east, where the horizon merged with the grass, another wind blew. It carried a strange, heavy, sharp, and arrogant scent. The scent of a newcomer. The next morning, the sun rose from behind the sparse acacia trees, the first rays of light falling on the barren land like golden blades cutting through the morning mist. The wild dogs had just woken up. They stretched, shook their fur, shook their heads, and inhaled the dry morning air. Zola stepped out, inhaled deeply. But paused. The wind this morning was unusual, the scent of lions still lingering in the air. On the eastern edge, on the riverbank that had once been the pack's territory, two large black figures were advancing. A pair of young, newly grown male lions were marking their new territory. They walked slowly, tails wagging back and forth, eyes proud, and their breath smelling strongly of blood. Each step they took seemed to tear the air apart, like a declaration, this land now belonged to us. The wind carried the scent far away, reaching all the way to where Zola stood. She pricked up her ears, her breath catching. A cold feeling ran down her spine. The pack stopped, their formation taut as a bowstring. To the east, where the riverbank was dry, two young male lions were approaching, their steps imprinted in the wet ground. The sunlight reflected off their golden manes, each movement a declaration of new territory. Zola did not turn away. She stepped forward, her eyes sharp. The pack followed, slowly moving towards the water, the only source of life left. The grass beneath her feet was low, the ground wet with mud, clearly marked with lion paw prints. Heat rose along with the smell of old blood. From behind the sand mound, a lion suddenly emerged. It stood in the middle of the puddle, head bowed, body muscular. The pack of wild dogs scattered, a tight arc. Zola held the center position, Kito close behind. The air thickened before the storm broke out. A moment of suffocating silence. A roar rang out. The shadow of the lion rushed forward. Dust flew up. Zola leaped in the opposite direction, biting hard on his opponent's shoulder, while Kito and the other two blocked the flank. The collision shook the ground. The giant's teeth had caught. A deep roar echoed, and Zola's body was dragged across the sand, the grass flying in long streaks. The pack rushed forward, trying to pull back to save their leader. The barks echoed, the claws tearing the ground. But the lion did not stop. It dragged Zola out of the hollow, each step slow and steady, as if asserting its dominance. Kito stood still, bewildered, watching his mother's body sway in the hunter's mouth. He ran after her, small in the tall grass, his feet sliding on the sand, his eyes never leaving the giant golden shadow dragging Zola's spotted body. The prairie echoed with the chaos of barking, roaring, and heavy footsteps. But eventually, the dust cleared. The lion's silhouette disappeared behind the grass, dragging Zola's body along with it in the bright sunlight. The pack stopped. Kuro stood at the edge of the slope, his whole body shaking with anger. The others scattered, panting, their eyes confused. In the sky, the vultures had begun to circle. Kito walked slowly. He did not howl, did not call. He just walked, his eyes wide open, wet. And empty. Behind him, the pack followed silently, like a lost stream. The wind blew, carrying the smell of blood, mixed with the scent of damp earth. The peaceful Okavango morning was torn apart, and from that moment, a new era began for the wild dogs without Zola. Kito grew bigger. His body became leaner, his running gait longer. The lessons Zola left him now flowed in every movement, reading the wind, waiting for the rhythm. Keeping the line. Every time the hunt failed, he was the last to retreat. Every time the young herd fell, he was the first to turn back to help. The dry season came. Food was scarce. Hunger caused the herd to begin to crack. Two young males broke away from the line, charging forward before the signal was given. The hunt failed, and one of them was gored to death by a buffalo. That night, the herd lay scattered, not in a circle like before. Only Kito remained awake, his eyes looking far away at the stars reflected on the shallow water. In him, Confusion turned into a clear awareness. Without discipline, everyone would die. From that day on, Kito changed. He was no longer the young one hiding at Zola's feet. His steps were longer, his eyes were more alert and cold. He was always in the most precise position, keeping the rhythm, keeping the line, leading the way. In the following hunts, Kito was always at the head of the formation. Every time he faced hyenas, leopards, he did not retreat. The pack, as if strengthened by Zola's sacrifice, became more united and fierce. The fights were short, fierce, and ended in a blur. The hyenas fled, the leopards retreated to trees, the vultures glided far from the hunting ground. The pack stood still, their breaths steaming in the sun. They looked at Kito, their eyes briefly, then silently turned away. No command was needed. The spotted figures behind them lined up automatically, their steps tightening. From that moment on, the pack had a new leader. Kito walked in the middle, each step sure, his eyes on the distant horizon. The afternoon fell. The last sunlight fell on his shoulder, where the scar had dried blood. Zola was gone, but her life still flowed in every breath of the pack. The wind rose, carrying the smell of burnt grass and the distant sound of vultures. Kito did not stop. It goes on, straight and low, as if understanding that to stay alive, sometimes one must grow from loss itself. From a puppy shivering in the honey badger's mouth, Kito became the leader of the pack. He grew up in the midst of loss, learned to stand firm in the wind, and understood that strength lies not in claws, but in bonds. Beneath his feet, the Okavango still stretches endlessly, harsh but fair. Now, every time the pack rushes across the steppe, Kito is the first step to open the way, the breath that keeps the flow from stopping. The pack's life continues, and in every step, Zola's shadow is still there, not in memory, but in the strength that Kito has become. On this step, every wound has its own memory. And perhaps, one day, he will return to the place where Zola fell. What do you think made this wild dog overcome his loss to become the leader of the pack? Will he return for revenge? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to stay tuned for more wildlife stories.
In this harsh land, every step is a gamble with fate. As the shadows silently approach, the flightless are forced to face their fate. The chase has begun, and there is no turning back. The unforgiving Masai Mara, the ostrich's race for life and death. Masai Mara, a sacred land in southwestern Kenya. It is one of nature's fiercest battlefields. Here, every creature is tested to its limits. Here, time does not flow as usual. It seeps into every patch of grass. Hidden in the eyes of antelopes, echoed in the distant roars of predators. Every day in Masai Mara is a new chapter in the never-ending book of survival. Because this place is not for the weak. It is an arena of instinct, of strategy, and of evolution. And then, amidst the golden grass rustling in the wind, a slight movement passed by. Not a roar or a stalking step, but a powerful and surprisingly graceful run. A tall figure was gliding as if it had never touched the ground. The African ostrich. A silent but powerful traveler. With its long, powerful legs and towering stance, the African ostrich is the largest bird on the planet and one of the most iconic symbols of the savannah. The male's shaggy black plumage, interspersed with white patches on the wings and tail, contrasts with its large eyes with long, curved eyelashes, both graceful and alert. The female, although more subdued in grey-brown, is no less sturdy. Unable to fly, the ostrich possesses an incredible speed of up to 70 km and a stride of nearly 5 meters per step, making it an athlete of the savannah. Ostriches live in small flocks, usually 5 to 15 individuals, sometimes accompanied by herbivores such as antelopes or zebras to increase the ability to detect predators. Their large eyes, nearly 5 centimeters wide, are the largest in the terrestrial animal world. Allowing them to observe from a considerable distance, like watchtowers living on the grasslands. The breeding season begins when the dry winds blow. Dust blurs the horizon. That is also when the males begin their unmistakable performance. The performance begins. Every move is carefully calculated. When the female approaches, the male stands up straight, wings spread wide, head raised high as if wanting to embrace the whole sky. A dance that is both majestic and inviting. The performance ends when the love has been chosen. The mating is brief and intense. After mating, the female ostrich will lay 7 to 10 eggs in a shallow hole prepared by the male. This hole is usually located in the middle of an open field, where it is easy to observe the surroundings. Each egg can weigh up to 1.5 kilolbs, making it the largest egg in the bird world. The male and female incubate the eggs together, taking turns day and night. However, during the incubation period, the nest is not always peaceful. There are always lurking in the grass, waiting for an opening to steal the precious eggs. Spotted hyena. The most distinctive and recognizable carnivore in the African savanna. They have a short but sturdy body, high shoulders, and low sloping hips, creating a strutting gait as if dragging themselves on the ground. Their fur is shaggy, yellowish grey or light brown, dotted with dark, inky spots that help them hide among the burnt grass. The hyena's powerful jaws have a bite force of over 1,000 psi, stronger than that of a lion, allowing them to crush large bones and digest almost the entire body of their prey. Contrary to the popular stereotype of cowardly scavengers, they are highly intelligent social predators. They live in matriarchal clans, where a dominant female hyena rules through both strength and intelligence. Their strict hierarchy and social cohesion allow them to coordinate their hunts on prey much larger than themselves. Their creepy laughter is not an expression of joy, but part of a complex communication system, from growls, hisses to howls that echo across the savanna. During the day, they hide in caves or in the shade. When dusk falls, the whole flock begins to spread out in search of food. Ostrich eggs are a nutritional treasure that hyenas crave. With a thick porcelain shell and a huge size, each egg contains a high amount of protein and fat, especially valuable during the harsh dry season. However, Stealing ostrich eggs is not easy. The egg nests are usually located in open areas that are easy to observe, and the male and female ostriches take turns incubating them day and night. In particular, adult ostriches are up to 2.5 meters tall, weigh more than 100 kgs, can run and kick hard enough to kill enemies. They make hyenas wary, therefore. Hyenas use stealth tactics. They crawled low to the ground, approaching the nest from out of sight, taking advantage of the time when the ostriches were changing shifts or were busy looking in another direction. Sometimes the whole flock would split up to distract the lone ostrich so that one could steal the eggs. But this time, all calculations were off. The ostrich's eyes flashed with alertness. Suddenly, the ostrich charged. The ambush reversed in a flash. From a stalker, the hyena now became a prey, fleeing from the fury of a feathered god in the middle of the steppe. The egg theft failed. The heavy footsteps gradually subsided, the dust dispersed in the wind. The eggs remained in the nest. The ostrich's paternal instinct had won over the stealth of the night. Not long after being born, they faced their first challenge, thirst. Under the scorching sun, the ostrich chicks waddled after their parents, crossing the dry, brittle grass and cracked ground. Every step is a challenge for young legs. But in the wild, only the resilient can touch life. For ostriches, life has never been a peaceful journey. On the vast grasslands, there is always a lurking shadow that makes them alert with every breath. Whether they are foraging, taking care of their children, or moving across the grasslands, they are never allowed to be careless. Because in this place, there is a hunter that all eyes must be wary of. A person quietly observing from afar. A symbol of power. Lion. The king of the grasslands. The adult male stands out with a thick mane of fur around his neck and shoulders, creating a proud halo. That mane is not only a defensive weapon in battles, but also a symbol of status and age. The male lion's body is massive, the muscles bulging under the thick fur. Each step is both slow and threatening, as if it could explode at any moment. The bright yellow eyes shine with determination and coldness, making the opponent hesitate. Female lions are smaller, more flexible and agile. They live in tightly organized social groups, usually consisting of a few adult males, many females and cubs. In the pride, the males take on the role of protecting the territory, while the females are responsible for hunting and caring for the young. There is always fierce competition between males for the right to mate. The fights can be bloody, but the winner will have the right to pass on their offspring, maintaining their bloodline in the pride. Female lions often go into estrus periodically and mate several times a day, lasting for several consecutive days. When pregnant, the gestation period lasts about 110 days. After giving birth to the cubs, after a few weeks they return the cubs to the pride and grow up under the protection of the whole pride. When the sunlight shines on the yellow grass on the savannah, the lions begin hunting. This time, the prey was an adult ostrich leading her chicks across the sparse grass. The experienced leader occasionally raised his head, his huge eyes darting around. The others in the flock seemed to understand, scattering but never straying too far. The chicks twittered around their parents' feet, occasionally mimicking their preening movements, a survival lesson imparted wordlessly. With impressive speed and keen observation, ostriches are not easy prey. But the immature steps of the ostrich chicks are a fatal weakness that hunters cannot ignore. The ostrich flock is wary of the main wind direction, where they suspect danger. But they do not expect that another lioness has quietly circled from the opposite direction. The lions gradually lower their bodies and weave through the dry grass. They do not make any noise. It is the antelopes grazing nearby that suddenly raise their heads, tensely looking in one direction, accidentally alerting the leader ostrich. A moment too late, a cub strays from the flock. Space seems to stop. The lion rushes out from somewhere. The chase ends in a life or death moment. The ostrich chick falls behind, becoming the price to pay for the harsh life in the grasslands. In the cyclical dance of nature, the death of one creature is the birth of another. The cycle of survival never stops. Where every breath is exchanged for speed, strategy, and sacrifice. The sun shines on the steppe. In the distance, the ostriches continue their new journey. On the vast steppe desert, the lion is not the only hunter keeping an eye on the ostriches. Another hunter is faster, quieter, and terrifyingly accurate. The cheetah. The ruler of speed, with sprints that can tear through the wind that no other animal can match. Its slim body with prominent muscle bundles under its pale yellow skin dotted with black spots. Its long legs and graceful back allow it to reach speeds of over 100 kilometers per hour in just a few seconds. Its broad chest supports its ability to breathe deeply, maintaining its endurance during short but fierce chases. Two black streaks run from the corners of the eyes to the muzzle like silent streams, helping to reduce the glare of the sunlight and focus the vision on the target. Each step of the cheetah is a perfect combination of flexibility and strength, like a piece of music written by millions of years of evolution. Despite possessing long legs and impressive speed, the ostrich cannot be subjective before a predator born to conquer speed. In a world where each stride determines survival, the cheetah is the embodiment of absolute precision and agility. The slender figure quietly slipped through the low grass. Three cheetahs with sharp eyes locked on the target in the distance. The ostrich was separating from the flock, busy looking for food in the midday sun. There was no sound around. The three cheetahs lowered their bodies, approaching bit by bit. The dry grass rustled under their feet, but the hot wind made that sound disappear into the air. The ostriches were still undetected. In a moment of inattention, the chase began. The cheetahs charged. In a few decisive seconds, a precise bite from three cheetahs prevented the ostrich from escaping. The hunt was over. All sounds suddenly fell silent. The dust settled, leaving only the rapid breathing of the victor. On the sunny grassland, life had just been reaffirmed by speed, endurance and perfect instinct. It was not just a meal. It was a testament to the harsh law of the wild. Faster means survival. The cheetah is not only a speed hunter, but also a fragile symbol of life in the vast savanna. Mating season usually takes place in favorable months, when food sources are abundant and the weather is not too harsh. The male follows the pheromone scent of the female to find a mate. Mating occurs quickly, within a few short days, and then each partner separates without the long-term attachment found in some other species. After a gestation period of about 90 to 95 days, the female leopard gives birth to 2 to 6 cubs in a hidden bush or a remote rock cave. The cubs are born blind, weak, covered with grey, down with stripes on their backs, which help camouflage them among the dry grass. In the first few weeks, the mother must frequently move her habitat to avoid being detected by enemies. Such as hyenas, lions, or even eagles. The survival rate is harsh. Sometimes only half of the cubs can survive to adulthood. But that is how nature selects the strongest individuals. As the new individuals gradually mature, they learn to stalk and chase. The survival cycle of the cheetah is extended, not only by speed, but also by perseverance, resilience, and the instinct to keep the fire burning for the species. Under the bright yellow sunlight of the Masai Mara grasslands, herds of antelope often stride close to the ostriches. They are not allies in the traditional sense, but they form a silent bond of survival. Antelopes have extremely sensitive senses of smell and hearing, while ostriches possess superior vision. When ostriches raise their necks and look hundreds of meters away to detect danger, antelopes immediately know that something is happening. And vice versa. Just a warning stomp from a herd of antelopes makes ostriches tense up in alertness. They do not share food. They do not protect each other. But by being present, listening and observing together, they create an early warning system in the harsh steppe, where every moment can be the boundary between life and death. In the wild, sometimes words are not needed to survive together. In a harsh world, where every stride can be the last. Ostriches do not hide in the dark. They choose to face it, to survive. No claws, no sharp teeth, but possessing silent weapons, courage, speed, and herd instinct. From eggs lying deep in the hot sand, to spreading their wings and soaring in the wind, from the latecomer to the pillar of the flock. The life of an ostrich is a series of endless challenges. Each individual is a living testament to the boldness of nature. Not perfect, but resilient. They run not only for life, but also for the next generation. And that fight continues day by day, generation by generation, under the fiery sky of Masai Mara. If you believe that life, though fragile, is always worth protecting, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to not miss any of the next survival journeys in the wild.